Hey everyone, and welcome back to the program. This is Cody from CodyFromATL. This is Cody from CodyFromATL. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with my brain? We have a lot to cover this week, so we're pretty much just going to jump right into it as usual. First up is an update to a previous story I covered about Delaney Hall in New Jersey. There was ICE protests there that were taking place because ICE was abusing the people that they had detained. They were serving them moldy food, and apparently some of the food had worms in it. So, of course, people were protesting outside Delaney Hall. And what do you think they did? What do you think they did to combat this protest, right? Mandatory curfew. Mandatory curfew is in place. 9 p.m. mandatory curfew, mind you. So this is a story from Yahoo by Nicole Arlarcon. Why do I always get the hardest names? Nicole Arlarcon. Protesters clash prompts mandatory curfew at ICE facility in New Jersey. And again, this is an update on a previous story that we covered. There was protests at Delaney Hall because of the mistreatment of the detainees there. The detainees were being served moldy food and food that had worms in it, and their medical needs weren't being taken care of. This is all par for the course with anything to do with ICE. They always abuse the detainees, and the United States has a history of abusing not only detainees but inmates, pretty much anyone at any government facility. Yeah, we don't even treat our veterans well. That's a whole nother topic. So imagine the way that detainees are treated. Confrontations erupted outside the Delaney Hall ICE detention facility on Saturday night as protesters pushed through police barricades. Now, in response, the mayor has announced a curfew for a half-mile radius around Delaney Hall. Wow, interesting. They were very specific about that curfew, weren't they? Very, very, very specific curfew. It only is in place for a half-mile radius, and this basically just gives the local police an excuse to squash these protests. So, this mayor is disgusting for doing this, and they need to be voted out of office. This mayor, Ross Baraka, has got to go. Let's look into this mayor's background a little bit here in a different tab. Oh, they're a member of the Democratic Party, but they are against these ICE protests apparently. They don't seem too sympathetic, at least this mayor in particular. The problem is, and this has been the way it's always been, but the Democratic Party getting things together is like herding cats, which is why I think we need some sort of a socialist movement. We, because the Democratic Party is and always has been a fucking mess. I think it's disgusting that you have a mayor who claims to be a Democrat but is enforcing a half-mile radius curfew just to squash these protesters who are, mind you, protesting non-violently and are protesting for a good reason. Baraka said the curfew will be in effect nightly from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. So Baraka is basically a bootlicker. He said a warning to leave the area will be issued initially. Any continued non-compliance will result in removal from the area and the issuance of appropriate summonses and or further legal action, Baraka said in a statement. So Baraka is a bootlicker, confirmed police bootlicker. Due to the escalating situation at Delaney Hall and the increasing need for police intervention, immediate action is required to protect public safety and blah, 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 blah. Even though we've seen videos of the protesters, they were literally just putting some little tiny plastic barricades in front of cars, and they're just it's a nonviolent protest. What can I say? It's a nonviolent protest. This is bootlicking behavior from Mayor Baraka. Extremely disappointed. So over the weekend, the U.S. bombed Iranian military sites, but we're being told that Trump is working on a deal, right? I guess this is all part of the art of the deal, and this is all part of some level of diplomacy that I just didn't know existed, which is when you're trying to make peace with another country, you should bomb them, right? Or send drones their way or whatever. So it's just backwards. This is horrible diplomacy, and it just doesn't make sense. And this is also keeping the Strait of Hormuz locked down, which is going to make prices of everything go up. The thing is, a lot of people, and I've seen this in my own comments, even though this channel is tiny right now, I've even gotten some comments where, people are like, well, the prices aren't high now. That's the thing. We're going to see this in the future. It's like when you flick a marble into some dominoes or something like that. But what I'm saying is the longer the Strait of Hormuz is shut down, the longer it's going to take to undo the damage. And that is going to hit all of us directly in the pocketbooks. And that's why the billionaires, the Epstein class, they don't care. They don't care. They are controlled by Israel. They want to continue this conflict, this illegal conflict. The only people who are suffering are typically innocent civilians. Civilians are the highest casualty rates in these conflicts. So let's dive into this article from the AP. Dubai. The United States said Monday that it bombed radar and drone sites in Iran after Tehran shot down an American drone over the weekend. Iran then said it targeted American soldiers in Kuwait with missiles, which the U.S. said it shot down. The nominal ceasefire between Iran and the U.S. has been repeatedly tested with such back and forth attacks, even as officials from both countries try to negotiate an end to the war. It's not clear how close they are to a deal, and there's always the risk that an attack could derail those talks. In the meantime, Iran has maintained its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting global energy supplies and driving up the price of fuel around the world, with far-reaching consequences. A cargo ship came under attack off Iraq Monday afternoon, the British military said. What is that meme? I did that. Trump did this. Trump did this. So you can thank him for that. You can thank him for all of the rising prices, just the continual escalation of the American hellscape that we're living in. You can blame that directly on Trump and his administration, they're all idiots, his idiotic administration. Fighting has also escalated between Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, despite their nominal ceasefire. Israel has extended its occupation deep into Lebanon, and Hezbollah, which joined the war in support of its main backer, Iran, continues to launch drones into Israel. So Trump's bestie, Netanyahu's over here fighting Hezbollah. And then also, we are fighting Israel's battles as well in Iran. And the American people are going to suffer, and the Iranian people are going to suffer, and the Epstein class will profit from this. The military is claiming that there was a drone over international waters. Iran shot it down. The U.S. is pissed off. So it's like tit for tat attacks here. And this is pointless and useless. It's not getting us anywhere closer to a deal. So this is not good. This is not good. We're going to continue to see the effects of this. And we'll keep monitoring the situation. But all I can say for now is I'll repeat what I said in the past. If you can, stockpile what you can while prices are low. Okay? That's my only advice to you. Take it or leave it. So this is interesting, and I've been seeing this popping up on social media. But Wired nailed it in this article. U.S. law enforcement warns of anti-tech extremism as AI hatred grows. As Americans stew over the looming risk of job-stealing AI and data centers in their backyards, the feds are raising the alarm about a new category of threats, documents obtained by Wired shows. In the wake of attacks on CEOs, a nationwide protest movement targeting data centers, and increasing concerns about AI job replacement, federal intelligence agencies and domestic law enforcement are circulating reports with a new domestic target in mind: anti-technology extremists. So what? People who just don't like AI? People who don't want these data centers built in their fucking backyards, driving up their utility prices even more, poisoning the drinking water for some fucking useless chatbot that can barely format a document. The Epstein class wants us to just eat this. Like, you are scum and will be replaced by computers, and you will own nothing and love it. That's what they want us to accept. Okay? Fuck AI. I think that there are some limited cases where it's useful, but overall, it's a net negative for humanity. How many times do I have to say this and others? So many people have this belief now, right? So it's just fascinating. You've got Palantir with all of their, they're spying on everybody, right? They're building all these lists. It's just very 1940s Germany. I know that that is cliche, but this is fascism. This is fascism. So we are under a fascist regime at the moment. And now, if you are against AI, you're probably going on a list somewhere, along with me. So let's get back to the article here. More than 1,000 pages of unpublished reports from the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and fusion centers obtained by Wired show a national shift taking place to surveil this new and worryingly broad category of people and activities deemed an emerging threat. Now, I can understand if they were monitoring people who were making violent plans or something like that, but to just simply be against tech is not illegal. To simply be against AI is not illegal. To share your opinions is not illegal. To organize and vote to keep these data centers out of your neighborhoods and communities is not illegal. So, what are they talking about here? They love their lists of people, making lists and monitoring people. And I thought they were anti big government. It's just very interesting. It's almost like they're the opposite of everything they claim. Hmm. Back to the article. This new effort follows President Donald Trump's national security presidential memo number 7. That almost sounds like a fragrance to me. I don't know. I wouldn't wear it though. Back to the article, which instructs the Department of Justice to target anyone holding anti-American, anti-Christian, and anti-capitalism beliefs earlier this month. That's extremely broad. That's extremely broad, okay? So we're going on the list, chat. We're going on the list. Earlier this month, Trump's counterterrorism czar, Sebastian Gorka, released a public counterterrorism strategy claiming that left-wing extremists are one of the 3 top counterterrorism priorities facing the United States. Taken together, these Trump administration directives have commandeered the domestic surveillance apparatus to surveil and criminalize speech and assembly that challenges the ideology of the White House. A new focus on anti-technology extremism adds an unreported category to already public designations under a presidency that has heavily invested political and material capital in AI and data center, that's a new one, data center proliferation. So Trump is protecting his buddies here. They are all heavily billions and billions invested in this bullshit, right? So this is a protection on their investment. And also, if you're against AI, that throws a wrench into their plan of them having AI replace you. So you're going on a list, literally living in the end times. Literally living in the end times. No, but AI is not taking over anything anytime soon. That is a myth that is spread by OpenAI and Anthropic. So don't be worried, okay? There's a lot of crazy theories going around. AI is not taking over anything anytime soon, folks. I hate to break it to you, any AI enthusiasts out there, just calm down. It's going to peak shortly and the bubble's going to pop eventually. So, a lot of people stand to lose a lot of money in this completely speculative market about AI. No one knows how it works. It's a black box. And the black box is we could continue to pour money into this and see very little to no profit. And we are, just kind of accelerating the nuking of our planet with this bullshit. But yeah, we're probably going on a list, chat. Nonetheless, the Intelligence Bureau warns that paranoid views regarding AI may proliferate in the aftermath of the Zizian's trial, thanks to their attempt to reason the belief that a godlike incarnation of AI is imminent, and belief that humans must best use their time in the present to devote themselves to ensuring its compliance with human morality or face existential consequences for failing to do so. Back up, back up, back up, back up. Okay. In the same Intelligence Bureau assessment, analysts also describe a novel threat emerging in the wake of the arrest and trial of Ziz Leota, an extreme rationalist who allegedly led a small cult-like group, 3 members of which have been charged with murder, tied to an obsessive ideology focused on the existential risk posed by AI. What? So there was a cult that sprung up, and 3 of the members were charged with murder because, okay, I'm not familiar with this case, actually. We need to look into the Zizians. You need to do a separate story on that, because this is getting deep here. But yeah, people are losing their minds due to AI. So not only, so let's just hate on AI for a minute here. It's a black box that these trillion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar, conglomerates are dumping money into. They're not seeing profit come from it. They're destroying the environment with it. They're jacking up utility costs. They're poisoning water. They're destroying the environment. I mean, I can go on and on. And all of this is completely speculative. It's completely speculative market. So people are falling prey to the hype, guys. AI has a finite amount of data to train on. That is all of human literature throughout history, right? Once that runs out, it's going to be trained on synthetic data, which is, can you guess what synthetic data is? Data created by AI. So what do you think is going to happen to these models over a long enough time frame? The models are going to disintegrate eventually. So, if anything, the older models or, ones that are coming out for the next couple months and maybe a year are going to be the best models we're going to see. So that means this is a bubble and it's going to pop. So we will circle back to the Zizians at a later time. That sounds very interesting. But the overall message here is, if you are against AI, then you might go on a extremism list. I don't know what else to say about it. I never felt this way with previous administrations, where you feel almost like your freedom of speech is being stifled, because you feel like if you say certain things, bad things could happen in your life. It's just sad that people can't express their opinions without being put on a watch list. This is not small government. The right is supposed to be about small government, less surveillance. This is a fascist surveillance state that we're living in.
Fatality.